Happy Friday. Welcome to another edition of X. What's up? My name's The Schiller. Have you seen the pattern, the trend that's emerging as we're heading into September? And I know that we're halfway through August, but it also does feel like time is flying. And everybody's bullish. The world's absolutely in chaos. 2025 is still introducing more and more bigger things in and around everything to do with the crypto and Web3 space. Waiting to see what the conversation around Project Crypto is later today. When that comes out, I'm expecting all of the headlines. And this was my reaction to a headline that I saw yesterday. I know this is a scam, but because it was this post from Coinbase Institutional, and I thought, nah, this isn't Coinbase Institutional. This is some person that just got a fake account. Yeah, one of these things are spelt wrongly. There's got to be something. And then you look at it and you're like, holy smokes, it's got 118K followers. Well, that doesn't mean much. Oh, 120 plus mutual people follow it. Maybe it's real. Yo, Distressed Pickle, what's going on? How are we doing? Too early. True. So Coinbase Institutional says altcoin season is coming. Hallelujah. As September approaches, the transition to a full-scale alt season is likely. Our positive Q3 25 outlook stems from macro trends such as potential Fed rate cuts and expected regulatory advancements, more key themes in this monthly outlook report. So this gets 1 million views. And that's exclusively on X, ignoring every other platform out there. Blue check, it's fake news. Facts. Man, I still think it's hilarious that you try to make any sort of argument online, and especially on this platform, there are people that respond to you. They're like, will you pay for this app? I'm like, well, you can only respond to certain stuff. You can't get full DMs. Like, shut up, because I pay $5 or whatever a month. What the hell does that mean to discredit my opinion on something? People are in 2025 are unreal. But something to note with these predictions that we're seeing, right, our positive Q3 2025 outlook, we've seen very big institutions going out and saying, hey, here's our wildly positive prediction, and we're going to double down on that. Or in some cases, there were people when ETH took that dip before that were like, never mind, we're not going to have a high price target. And now they're like, whoa, listen, we said that before. Listen, that was a weekend bender. We're going back to being max bullish. Virtual Bacon, who is a big content creator around crypto, ETH is nearing all-time high. Bitcoin just set a new all-time high. Bitcoin dominance is rolling over. If you've been waiting for an alt season signal, this is it. And notice the continuing pattern of this narrative, this trend, these predictions, everybody feeling good about stuff. I mean, part of it, I guess maybe we should be a little concerned that everybody's feeling good about it. But seems that the alt season, and if that does happen, I want to preface this too, is all we've seen, generally speaking, is very notable NFT collections move. A lot of the other ones haven't done anything. The stuff that was flying before, announcements still aren't moving them. And Ethereum going up, yes, it's helped with collections and everything else, but people, I would make the argument the vast majority of people don't feel, hey, woo, I'm going to go and spend big, right? Like, I just don't think that's a thing right now. There's certain individuals that feel that, but it's a specific group. So if this trickles down and really does ignite an altcoin season that spurs everybody for different Web3 ecosystems that are all out there, again, everybody's kind of within whatever ecosystems they want, getting a little bit of love no matter where it is, space is going to look real interesting, and those higher targets for what the entire market cap for whether it be specifically crypto or NFTs could be high. But the White House turned an about face on the purchasing Bitcoin. See, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that, because now they're saying that they're going to take the confiscated Bitcoin and then not sell it, which is like, all right, I guess that's a start. And if they were just saying, hey, we're not going to purchase it, is that their way of saying, yeah, we're going to purchase it, but like we just have to say that right now until we figure out how we exactly want to do it? I don't know. We've seen people, we've seen things change at a blink of an eye. And Animoca brands, we highlighted the Paul Barron interview a couple days ago, which was great. It had Yat CEO on. He's a CEO of Animoca brands. And Animoca brands have been betting on everything they can get their hands on. Stolen Bitcoin. Heck, what a world, eh? And it says, with Animoca brands, your future shines bright. These four together, just the beginning. So for anybody listening in audio only, it shows a logo of Animoca brands, the Solana token logo, the Sandbox token logo, and Mocha coin, which is for Animoca brands. Earn, you sure can, is the caption under this billboard with those logos. So is this the likes of the bigger entities trying to create a basket of tokens that people can then get into that's meant for this altcoin season? And yet, see, on that discussion with Paul Barron, explicitly stated, you can buy things that are basically priced at zero that have infinite amount of returns possible. Only in Web3. It's a great episode. Again, check it out. Paul Barron and Yatsio. I think it was last week. Bill Noble, highlighting from CryptoQuant.com. Massive $1.82 billion stablecoin entry into Binance signals possible price upswing. In quote, such inflows often signal an intention to deploy funds into the spot market, either for strategic accumulation or short-term trading opportunities. You can see right around the past few days, massive amount of stablecoins going into Binance. And you can see, like, this is insane. This is absolutely insane for just like a one-day thing. So where does that money flow? That is the question. What does it look like when celebrities admit that they have a lot of crypto?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes or no?
I got it. Do you have more than $100 million in your bank account?
No. Oh, crypto account. Do you have more than $100 million in your crypto account?
Yes.
That's it. We don't need it. We don't need to go any further in the day. What are the ramifications of him saying that? What are the ramifications of realizing the youth is just obsessed with the industry? Holy sugar. ChronoForge, it's coming to Readyverse. What do we got here?
Promise. Progress. Power. Chronos and the Forges have taken once modest endeavors to new heights and scales. But as the new titans of this industrial age started to roar, tensions grew, and a once boundless world starts to feel small and crowded. We can't all have it all, is something my mother used to say. So why can't I have my piece of the world?
Okay, let's review the trailer. The voice is kind of cool. I don't know how I feel of it matching up. I feel like there should be like more inflection points or something. Like it felt kind of like monotone thrill, like you're watching like it was all one experience. Very odd that it feels like it's kid characters, and I don't know if like this is a game designed for like a younger audience, but like just looking at these like animations, it's like you know, I feel like a bit bigger, like sort of like a more of like an adult thing would go good. I get that it's like the cartoon feel for it. That was the only thing that I thought was a little off. I you know, generally speaking, I think that it looks interesting. From the combat perspectives, it looks like it's got like 3 different abilities and then right and left click for it. But that's coming on September 10th, and this is on Abstract, but it's also on Readyverse, which also connects to what's going on with Featureverse and Sylo, and I'm curious what the hell this looks like, but September 10th for the first big experience. So to talk about Sylo for a second, because, you know, on the altcoin season, Why the hell not? Distress Pickle, the dumbest people on the planet hold an unfathomable amount of the crypto wealth. And if the movie Idiocracy is going to come true, it's because these people who are never going to reproduce prior to crypto actually did. Yo, I mean, I don't know how to answer that. What it take? Hell yeah, Pickle. So we've made the arguments about authenticity as an example, where we don't know now when a new story comes out, is it authentic or not? You can tell based off of, the Coinbase Institutional is a great example of that. You read that on the timeline, you instantly think, oh, that's true. And then you look into it and you're like able to verify, oh, okay, that's like actually Coinbase Institutional. But there's especially in sports, there's a lot of accounts that come out that try to, they've renamed theirself like Sham 00. They have some breaking LeBron James to the Toronto Raptors tweet, and then it goes like semi-viral, and then people are like, whoa, hold on a second, this is the wrong account. And what does it look like for the blockchain when we are looking at verifying the future with AI and everything else? So here's Ben Jordan from the Sylo team.
So Sylo is made up of three core pieces. The first one's the asset register, which has been out in the market for a while now. The second one is the verification protocol, and the third is the permissioning protocol. The verification protocol is currently being implemented within Altered State. So what that will mean is that assets that get generated in Altered State and then published are verified. You can verify that the asset that enters a game or that is in a wallet has actually been generated by Altered State, which is a really important piece and is a good expression of how the verification protocol can be used and will be used by asset creators. You need that authenticity. You need to know that the 3D model that is pointed at from an NFT is the correct 3D model, and the verification protocol solves that problem. And this is the way Altered State's getting developed, and the publishing flow within Altered State is a really good representation of all of the network components at the TRN layer coming together. And that we'll continue to make sure that as protocols roll out on the TRN layer, we're integrating them into the right experiences at the application layer.
So everything to do with data is what we're looking at, because again, I really think that that's the world that we're coming to. And Ahmed Al-Dani says data drives everything. So put that together, this is what we're paying attention to. And the fact that these narratives, right, of, oh, this is historical, oh, this is cool, oh, this is potentially money laundering of some sort. There's a lot of protocols right now that are going to be used massively that nobody's paying attention to, because they're like, oh, look, a picture of a rock sold for 606,000 American dollars. So try to ignore the noise and look where things are happening. Smoot here with another great take. Love highlighting them. Post a ton every day. Seen a lot of this in quotes. This is what Yuga should do to make apes great again. Talking about Bored Ape Yacht Club. If you know the collection, it's gone ups and downs, crazy heights. They had the guy that was from Blizzard and Activision at one point. The former CEO, Daniel Allegre, came on board. It went super corporate. Everything went downhill. The original founder comes back, and this is a good perspective here, and I hadn't thought about in a while. But again, the point of Yuga should do stuff to make apes great again over the timeline for the last few years. And man, apes made apes great the first time around, not Yuga. Totally agree. Apes hosting meetups, ape hosting parties, apes launching products. Stop asking Garga to pump your bags, bitch. Josh Block type of deal. True. I agree with this take. But also this goes back to the saturation of the NFT communities, the Web3, just like in the space as a whole. It's, in a weird way, it's sort of like when you get into a sport that you haven't like watched in a while or don't really have a team, and then you just decide, you know what, I kind of just hope every team plays good. And then you don't necessarily have something you're rooting for as hardcore. And in the early days when there was only Bored Apes and it was like the be all and the end all community, and you don't have all these distractions, you don't have this tribalism, and it's just everybody's out vibing, there was such a different tonality to everything. And Decentraland, we've seen different collections do drops of sorts, and Bored Ape Yacht Club actually did it. And so these arguments around historical NFTs, is it just historical ones that have a very big narrative to it? Is it associated where, like, I mean, if Pudgy Penguins had different assets on, you know, the Sandbox, Decentraland, etc., would those go big? Or because it's Yuga, is there anything for that? And so these are these are some of the collectibles from Decentraland back in the day. Jihos, this is the moment we've dreamed of. Hell yeah. Not talking about altcoins, though. The new Ethereum Foundation leadership is locked in. It's a new dawn. And they were reposting Ronin. They were saying that they're doing a Ready Layer 2. I think they were just saying that for fun, but they're now having an Ethereum connection for Ronin and trying to expand, where we know the future is multi-chain. It's not even an argument anymore. But what is an argument is Ethereum officially noticing this. And Pickle, I thought that was a Pranksy's Rock project. Man, oh man, there's been some weird happenings in the space, eh? And there was a point before where the founder for Meebits made a huge open letter to the Ethereum Foundation being like, why the hell are you not supporting the NFT collections? And I happened to interview him. We went through that entire letter and got some feedback. And this is on the RWA Segments podcast. Of course, you can listen down in the link below if you're on YouTube or in my bio on X. But here's his response to my question of saying, why do you think that you needed to write a friggin' letter to the Ethereum Foundation that they weren't supporting you? Or more or less the NFT communities. Why do you feel like this was needed?
Yeah, so I think Ethereum's, definitely at a point in its life cycle where people, obviously, you can't really just focus on the price of things, but price is such a good indicator, right? Like, we're both from traditional finance backgrounds, and price tells you the consensus of what the market's thinking about you. So the fact that Ether as a cryptocurrency has fallen behind a little bit versus, its main other rivals, let's call it, if we want to be tribal,
You know what's hilarious about this, though, is because, at the point, he was right, and then Ethereum absolutely has screamed higher.
Bitcoin, Solana, and then some of the other newer tokens. I think it's a sign that everybody just turned around and said, okay, what's happening with the Ethereum ecosystem that's not making progress? Where in reality, it has made a lot of progress on the technological side, but their story has not been told correctly because the EF in the prior administration, let's call it, was too focused on that, kind of like just here for the tech, which is great. And it's going to build an awesome platform for the world. However, not everybody's here just for the tech. And a lot of people
Not everybody's here just for the tech. You see behind the screen, just doing that money symbol, right? A money man seal sort of situation. But if you wanted to hear that, that's back from episode 60. I'd love for you guys to check out the episode. We've talked with a whole bunch of different exciting people, and I do have another one that I'm recording very shortly after the stream here. DC Investor, I got my first one. Tattoo. No, a friend that messaged them saying Ethereum is up 57% since we spoke, with extreme exclamation points, which means they bought for the first time and they're like, oh, this is what it's about. I get it. And same with Resistance. I'm receiving very similar messages from normies I told to buy ETH. Congratulations, ETH is so fire. I missed the entry. It's just funny. You go through the timeline and there's so many correlations in the narrative and what's happening. The final thing I'm going to leave you with, we talked about how Major League Soccer has MLS Quest a few times throughout this week, and there's a lot of other sports platforms from NBA Top Shot, NFL All Day, UFC Strike, FIFA Collect, which, what chain was that on? Oh, I'm forgetting what the hell it was, but there was a chain that was getting a lot of attention before, Algorand. And it feels like I've not seen anything for it in a while. I don't know if FIFA Collect's still on it. Panini, it's also bridging over to Ethereum with their stuff. But Sweet was the one that had the rights to Major League Soccer that they hadn't done anything. But apparently they also have it for NHL Breakaway. And what was odd about this is the payment system is different. Every digital sports collectible platform allows for accounts deposit except NHL Breakaway, who uses Moonpay. Sweet, what's the deal with Moonpay ignoring us collectors? We can discuss withdrawal issues later. I mean, if they have Moonpay over just like a direct deposit, Moonpay gets a cut. How much does Moonpay want for that? What does it look like for other ecosystems? Again, we saw that integration within Futureverse for the Third Kingdom game itself. Maybe the technology wasn't there. Maybe it was easier to partner with somebody who already had that through, even if it's like a small fee for certain stuff. I digress. We'll kind of see what happens, but it is something to pay attention to, that if we see more of these payment providers integrated. And another example is if you're on Abstract, if you're trying to bridge, it would say, do you want to go through Moonpay? Do you want to do like a direct bridge? Do you want to do, I think there's like 1 or 2 other options on there, but it does show for the Moonpay that there is a price associated with it. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Holy smokes. Thank you so much for coming through. Hope you liked the earlier stream. Distress Pickle. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have yourself a great weekend. Peace.